Okay, I can do it if nobody is doing it.
Okay. So just wait for 3 more minutes so that people can. So meanwhile, you can ask question if you have any.
Kamala, I do have one question.
Okay, go on.
Regarding the three world, when you meditate, the three world, they all answer me with that's a meditation world. And then when you do meditation, you see the three world. Nobody give me an exact answer.
Can you repeat the second last line? Like I couldn't. I just missed that. You said 3 volt and something.
Three world, when you do the meditation,
Okay.
at the end, you know, you always had the dissolution of the three world were all going to you, become light and going to you. Most of the sadhana at the end when we do the dissolution. And then I've been asking people what the three world means.
Okay, 3 volts. Okay.
And nobody be able to give me an answer.
Okay.
And then since we're kind of in this topic,
okay,
right? So I just wonder if you have a better answer for me.
So sometimes we say 3 realms or 3 worlds. I think this different translation. Basically, we call it kamsum. Okay. So sometimes also like 3 spheres. So that's the first desire realm, desire realms, which include us, all desire realm, and then form realm, which is the God realm, and then formless realm, which is another type of God realm. Does that make sense?
No.
No, it doesn't make sense, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, so I know this is just a name that I'm giving you, right?
Yeah.
Why? So when I tell you this name, what does it comes to you in your mind, like when I say desire realm?
People will give me like, okay, it needs the samsaric world, where the 6th realm of the samsara, right? That the human being belong to the desire realm.
So yeah, I'm just yeah.
And because you give a definition of formless realm and form realm, and then nobody be able to tell me exactly what is form realm, exactly what is formless realm, and that's a little bit frustrated.
Okay.
Because they all say, "Oh, you get it when you meditated." What does that mean?
Okay, so I think there should be 2 ways to explain that in the 3 realms. Okay, so like if we talk from the very existentialist idea,
yes,
then like there is, we are in the desire realm. Basically, desire realms tend to have more desire than the others, other 2.
yeah.
And then they are more desire on the in terms of the physical looks. So we need more makeup than they need. We care more about our physical than our mental.
Okay.
Right. So these are the called desire realm. Okay. Okay. And then form realm, they don't really attach to their form, although they have the form, and their form is like a light body. A light body. Okay, light, but they have the light body. So so and then they don't really attach to their body, I would say, at all. They are not attached to their body. But they are more on like seeking for the peace.
Mm-hmm.
They are seeking for the peace, and they are attached to the peace.
Mm-hmm.
That is called the form realm. And then the next level is the formless realm, where they don't have you know, they don't have any type of attachment towards the form, but rather they kind of like they are kind of anti form. Really, anti-form, but they are not really like fighting, but because they have already transcend the form. So only when you lose interest in any type of desire and attachment towards the form, then only you get that level.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but another problem for them is they are looking for the you know, tangyom, you know, feeling of neutral or equanimity.
Mm-hmm.
Equanimity rather than, like, you know, the feeling of excitement or feeling of peace. They are looking for the equanimity.
Mm-hmm.
And they already acquired some kind of equanimity, not complete equanimity, but they have already acquired some kind of equanimity, and that they are kind of attached to that. Yeah, that. And then, so again, so this is we are talking from two levels, from the outer levels and then inner levels. If you talk from the very emotional level, we are experiencing these three realms every day,
Mm-hmm.
everyday level.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are someone who is really thinking about the physical looks, and then, you know, thinking about all the good things in this realm, this world, you are completely the desire realm guy person.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sometimes, you know, I don't, you don't feel like living in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't like this world, and then you feel like you want to renounce from this world, and then maybe you know, you want to be, you want more peace. At
Mm-hmm.
that time, the mental state is the state of the form realm. And
Mm-hmm.
and then at some point, or, you know, in some situation, you feel like, no, in samsara nothing is working, like I should I should, you know, I should go somewhere there's like everything, there's no samsaric things, but you have some kind of idea in your mind, kind of like everything is equal, or, like, you know, everything is, you know, there's no division or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any kind of that kind of like understand like feeling in you, then I think your emotion is more of the formless realm.
Mm-hmm.
So basically we experience all three realms in ourselves within a day, I would say.
Mm-hmm. But is there hierarchy, or like better your phone runs from people are better and phone run better, or is there?
Yeah, like generally speaking, in formless realm they have more attachment and then a negative emotion.
Phoneless?
Form and formless realm both.
Oh,
Like,
I saw.
so, and then formless realm has again a lesser attachment, and then lesser the discursive thought than the form realm.
Okay,
This is a
but
hierarchy. Yes, you can say, like, you know, desire realm, form realm, and then formless realm. Formless realm is the on the top.
on the top, in terms of a negative direction, or
Yeah, so they don't have so much like us.
so it's not so much like us in terms of material wise, or in terms of compassion wise. When you say not like us.
They have more positive thoughts than us, basically.
They have more positive thought.
More positive thought and less negative thought.
Oh, okay. So the higher the formless is better than the form. The form is better than the desire realm in terms of what the defects of samsaric word.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
So basically, we have two types of samadhi meditation. One is so the samadhi that help us to get into the form realm. These samadhis are called meaning when you get to the form realm, you need to have that particular samadhi that help us to deal with the emotion, the gross emotion, okay, the gross emotion, concrete emotion. So only when you are able to deal with the gross emotion, but you have, very subtle emotion there, but it will not really harm you so much as long as the samadhi is active. So that's the samadhi that help you to go to the form realm. And then in order to go to the formless realm, you need to deal with the conception or dushe, form, feeling, and perception, right? How do you translate perception? Anyone help? Anthony, Dennis, anyone?
Presumption?
Yeah. So we have 5 aggregates like suk, srova, dushe, duje. The third one, how do you like the translate the third one? Form, so feeling, and then what?
Discrimination.
Aggregates?
Discrimination.
Discrimination, dushe, duje, dushepa. Dushepa. Yeah, sometimes discrimination. Okay, maybe. Anyway, the third one, the form, feeling,
discrimination, compositional factor, consciousness.
Okay,
perception.
so maybe
The third one is perception.
Perception. Yes, I'm really confused. Different translation and different.
Yeah, there are different translations.
So basically, dushepa is like you gather the thought, and you basically you create. You put your what do you call dushepa. You put things together and then make it one, basically. Right? You put like 5 seconds or like 5 moments together, and then you call it one period of time. Right? So these kind of things, and it's not just that. So many things happen. Like when you have 5 fingers, then you call it hand, right? You call it hand. So these kind of things, right? So dushepa. So you deal with this kind of thought when you get to the formless realm, okay? With the samadhi that acquired by the formless realm, that samadhi deals with this kind of thought. Meaning, when you get to the formless realm, you will not have this kind of like discriminating or conceptualizing, or I don't know, perceptionizing. I don't know whether it is the word or not. I'm just creating it. Because, as making assumption, basically making assumption, you will not have that much in the formless realm. Because just imagine, how would you think if you have never seen a shape, size, and color? How would your mind work? Just imagine, if you have never seen in your life or touch any experience, you never experience color, shape, and size. how would your mind work? What do you think?
Your mind won't work, but then at the same time, there are outer phenomena and the inner phenomena. At
Let's
that
say,
moment, was it exist or not?
okay, so you cannot touch your body, okay? You are a hologram. You are a hologram, and then you are in a vacuum. So you have never seen color, experience, taste, or anything at all. And you have never seen shape, anything. How would your minds work? How do you think that your mind will work? Can you imagine? This is exactly what happened to the formless realm.
Then in the formless realm, are you in the illusion? It's an illusionary body.
They don't have body, you know. They are having a hologram body with no shape and no size and no color.
Okay.
Kepola
Yeah.
could be that it's formless because if there is not object, the mind cannot like exist. For me, is mind arises, the consciousness arises when there is an object to cognize. So could be that's weird because they don't have bodies. There is no object outside.
Even yeah, even among the formless realm, we have like namkathai, namshitai, and yumin. So these are like the first one. Namkathai is like, you know, infinite space. So they have the kind of idea of infinite space. It's not a dark, okay, not a dark space. We are not talking about the space that is you know, that is out of our planet, which is a dark space. No, we are not talking about that space. So their samadhi is called namkhathai, and their state is called namkhathai. So basically, I don't know how to say it, but you know, but they will not see the form at all. I guarantee that.
Mm-hmm. Was it that naturally happened?
No, it will not naturally happen. You have to have the samadhi mind in order to do that. You need meditative mind. No, you cannot just, it doesn't happen naturally. So that is
a
why
lot of time people shut down their awareness. They don't see things either.
no, their awareness will be there. Their awareness will be there, very active one, but they will not see the, okay, it's like, you know, let's say you have this power to when you look at things, let's say you have a power to see at the level of quantum mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are always wearing that glass that you can see only the quantum mechanic level. Will you see the table? Will you see the table or screen that you have right now on in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you think that you will touch the table and you will hit by the table at that point?
No.
Why?
Because for me, there's no table.
Yes. You got it. You got it. But it doesn't mean that, you know, we cannot, people like me cannot see the table. I can see the table, but it's just you. who is seeing the, when you look at the table, you just see what do you see? The quantum mechanic level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, a completely different experience, and for me, it is completely another one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference between the formless realm, and then when you look at yourself, even you see the quantum mechanic yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all for
So
today.
the view of these formless realms beings, it's more subtle, obviously, than our vision, or is the same?
Way much subtler than us. Way much subtler than us. Way much. So that is why sometimes we most of the time, I would say, when we really like meditate on the emptiness, I'm afraid that we are meditating some kind of meditation that could lead us to that state, rather than the liberation. That is
Mm-hmm.
why, it's so important to study. Study comes now really, study becomes really important role here.
So Kamala, is there any book talk about this that you know of?
Yeah, I know one, but it's not translated yet. I'm so sorry,
It's okay. So that means why I heard that there's a defense of nirvana, and that's maybe because what you say, you go into a state that you're really not liberating yourself, and that's a defense of the meditation of the samadhi. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, these are I'm referring to, since I have been I have studied most from Korampas, one of the Sakyas master. So my specialty is like Korampas commentary. So I most of the time when I say something, it always referred to his commentary. I'm not really good at Indian masters and other masters, but rather I refer him. And then please, if you found something that like something that contradiction of what you have studied before, then definitely you have to keep in mind that there are lots and lots of argument going around among the Tibetan masters, Indian masters, but right now so this text, we are really like study under the Mipham Rinpoche's commentary. I also received this and then studied under the Mipham Rinpoche's commentary before. So we are doing that, but the general information that I give you is more of Korampa's understanding, coming from the Korampa's understanding, and my mind is really shaped by the Korampa's understanding. So you have to understand that influenced by the Korampa's understanding. Okay, so so that is one thing that I want to mention, because most there are times that you might find that okay, so I've studied before that, and so someone told me these things, but what he's talking about now, right? So please keep that in mind. Okay.
And
Okay,
so is that
okay.
So what does it constitute? What kind of view that the master, the commentary you study, is samsara nirvana is the one side of two coins? Is that the view that you're holding?
I mean, like, personally, I don't know, I don't really like to make any comment, but when I teach, I really like to refer to one of the masters, and especially I like to refer whom I have studied, right? Whom I'm studied. But if you say personally to me, then I think, you know, I have no problem with any of those masters. And then you know, I don't know what's my personal view.
I see. I got
Yeah,
it.
I share, you know,
Okay.
I kind of like share, but it's difficult to say even for myself. So what's my view?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Campbell. Now I know where you stand. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Oh, 22 minutes. Okay. So we'll chant the Heart Sutra, and it's B. Okay. So I'll share the screen and then oops. Let's wait. Give me some time. Okay, now it's up to you, B. If you can see on the screen.
Do I start with the line that says homage?
Yeah, you can start from there.
Homage to Bhagavati Prashna Paramita. Thus I've heard, at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Raja at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered an absorption on categories of phenomena called perception of the profound. At the same time, noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and great being, beheld the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and saw that the five aggregates are empty of nature. Then, through the Buddha's power, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and great being, how should a child of noble family who wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom train? This is what he said. And the noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and great being, replied to Venerable Shariputra as follows. O Shariputra, a son of noble family or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom should regard things in this way. They should see the five aggregates to be empty of nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, sensation, recognition, conditioning, factors, and consciousness are emptiness. Therefore, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. They are without characteristics. They are unarisen and unceasing. They are not tainted and not untainted. They are not deficient and not complete. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no recognition, no conditioning factors, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no texture, and no mental objects. There is no I element up to no mind element, and as far as no mental consciousness element, there is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance up to no old age and death, no extinction of old age and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path, no wisdom, no attachment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since bodhisattvas have no attainment, they rely on and abide by the perfection of wisdom. Since their minds are unobscured, they have no fear. They completely transcend error and reach the ultimate nirvana. All the Buddhas throughout the three times fully awakened to unsurpassed, genuine, and complete enlightenment by means of the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra that equals the unequal, the mantra that pacifies all suffering, is not false and should thus be understood as true. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed as follows. Om Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhiswaha. Shariputra, a bodhisattva and a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom in this way. Thereupon, the Blessed One arose from that absorption and commanded Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and great being. Excellent, excellent indeed. O son of noble family, that is how it is. That is just how it is. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have taught, then even the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and great being, together with the whole assembly in the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the speech of the Blessed One.
Thus conclude the Mahayana Sutra of the Blessed Mother, the heart of transcendent perfection of the wisdom. Thank you. Okay, so for today's meditation, we will try to do the same meditation as yesterday. Again, we focus on our breath, outer breath first, and then try to shift our concentration more on the the inner breath that we have in our mind, and then try to blend our the breathing and the clarity of the mind, and see both of them at the same time. Okay, so basically the aware, when we say you have to be aware what aware of what you are meditating, it's not just talking about the object, but rather it's talking about both the subject and object should be seen at the same time, and you have to be aware of both of them. And it is only possible when you see them as not a separate phenomena. Okay, so here on the watcher and the object that you are watching is not a separate phenomena, and the mind that is focusing, and then the focus object that we meditate on shouldn't be two things. Otherwise, it will become the dual, right? Dualist. So your meditation become dualistic, right? So that's why we'll try to again meditate. Please settle yourself for how you feel the most comfortable one. So usually when I meditate for like 5 minutes, then I always have the salivas comes in my mouth, and then it bothers me a lot. So then I have to swallow it. So that's why I always like clean my mouth before I do the meditation. Okay, so I'm setting the alarm, and okay, we start in 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay, so let me share this screen again. Okay, share screen to share. Okay, can you see that? Okay, I got it. So we are dealing with the Chitta Matharin, or a mind-only school. So in general, mind-only school believe that again, I think we spend quite a lot of time on talking about the three realms, right? So basically, in Chitta Matharin's understanding, they believe that all three realms that we talk about, form, formless realm, and the desire realm, they are just the mental projection, right? Mental projection. And when we project anything, any object, then there's the two thing that we have to, basically three things that we have to consider. Consider. So this is what Chitta Matharin says. So there is a imputed phenomena that we project. So so basically everything is like all the samsara and then nirvana is due to the based on the alaya, So every the both the samsara and then nirvana is created, or a projection of alaya. So positive projection is nirvana, and then negative projection is the samsara, right? So basically the creator God here in the Chitta Matharin's understanding or school is your own mind, and that is alaya. So alaya is the big bang. That happens. So if alaya is the basically everything comes out of the alaya, and then it become bigger and bigger for us as a samsara, and then it can also be like shrink in, and then dissolve into the alaya when we understand the reality. So three things. They believe that when alaya is so basically alaya is somewhere a mind, pure mind, that can hold the different seeds, and that can hold the different seed, and then that seeds are the habitual pattern of different types of mental stream. Okay, different type of mental stream, and then the karmic stream. So when this seeds like started to arise, then you will have the mental image. So that mental image is called the dependent origination. Sorry, dependent nature. And even the alaya itself is called dependent nature, and they are called dependent nature because every cause and effect is included in the mind only. Every causes and condition should be something to do with our own mind. In the Chitta Matharin's doctrine, okay, we are not really talking from the old Buddhist school. We are really right now talking from the and looking at from the Chitta Matharin's glasses. So when we talk about all the phenomena that comes to exist, and all the causes and conditions and results, everything, basically all the impermanent thing, this is just a mental projection, and then that mental projection is not other than the mind. So everything you see, experience, everything is happening within mind. So then that is why it's called dependent nature. It is called dependent nature because it is depend on the cause and conditions. In order to arise those mental image or mental or whatever it is, it needs causes and condition such as the seed, right? So that's why it's called the dependent nature. And in a way, it's called dependent nature because it is consistently like changing. And then in order to change, you rely on the time, right? Time, right? So that's why it's called the dependent nature. So by nature, it's depend on something. So the first one is dependent nature. Okay, Nadia, you have any question?
Yes, it is related with this.
Okay.
The question is, the concept of dependent nature explained by Chittamantras is in harmony with the idea of interdependent origination by the Madhyamakas?
Not so much as there are similarities, but there's many nuance, because in Madhyamika is a really like again big school, and it has even like different Madhyamikans, like such as Madhyamika who are the worldly Madhyamika, such as Chandakirti, right? Yeah. And then Chandarakshita himself, again a Madhyamikan guy, but he's another type of Madhyamikan who is half Chittamatrin, half Sautantrika, and half, half what do you call, the follower of Nagarjuna. He is completely different Madhyamikan, and Yogacharan, we call it Sautantrikan, Yogacharan, Madhyamika, right? So, and then there's another Madhyamika who is suggests like the Bhava Viveka, Sotandrika, Bhava Viveka, right? So Koramba talks about 5 different types of Madhyamika, even among the Madhyamika. So they have different way of looking at things in terms of relative truth, but in terms of the ultimate reality, I don't think they have so much difference. But in terms of how they interpret the how they interpret things in relative level, they have so many differences. So you cannot say this is and although they talk about the interdependent origination and all those things, but they have really so many differences among them. So that's why you cannot really we cannot really generalize, oh, this is in accord with the Madhyamika things. Okay, so very kind of I would say vast.
Yeah, this is a problem for me because the three natures seem so logically well explained. So the Chittamantras view is so like clever and kind of thing that could be in that way. But in the end, I have to let go that view for the subtle one in the best of the cases.
So yeah, I'm hoping that how the Chittamatrins we talk. Let me finish this, and then I will come on this topic again. Okay, let me finish this first. So
one quick question, Genla. What's the difference between Chittamatrins and Yogacharans?
Oh, Yogachara and Chittamatrins is the same. I would say Yogachara, Naljurchuba, and Simtsamba. So, but so Naljurchuba is Yogachara and Simtsamba is Chittamatrin, right? So, but when we connect the Chitta Matharin with the Madhyamika, then we don't get Chitta Matharin Madhyamika. We don't call that name, and it's just because of the, I think maybe you know, when we say Naljurchubi Umapa, that's more, what do you call that, easy to say that, you know.
So they're
I
both
think
the same then.
both the same. So you Naljurchuba and Simzampa, right? Both the same. But when we relate the Chitta Matharin to the Madhyamika, such as you know, Chandarakchita, we never say Chandarakchita is a, you know, Chitta Matharin Madhyamika. This term is not used popularly or whatever in classically, but the term used is Yogacharan Madhyamika, Yogachara Madhyamika.
Mhm.
Okay?
And so Asanga would be considered Yogacharan or Chittamatrin?
Asanga, I would say both Yogachara and Asanga, Asanga and Vasubandhu, both of them, Yogachara or and Chitta Matharin both. But they are not maybe inner. Personally, they would maybe they would be like Yogacharan Madhyamika, but for people like us, he's playing a role as a Yogacharan, just a Yogachara and Chitta Matharin. Okay. I mean, did it like confuse you when I say like innerly and then outer for the outer world, outer world?
A little bit. Let me think about that.
Okay. So I think personally, I think they are completely Madhyamikan guy, really, because they have already realization. You know, they are Bhumi's Bodhisattva. Unless you are a Madhyamikan guy, you cannot really like become a Bodhisattva, because the Chitta Matharin's system or school can give cannot really go to the ultimate level of ultimate view of the ultimate view, right? So without understanding the ultimate view, you cannot really become a Bodhisattva. The Bhumi's Bodhisattva, right? So that's why I'm saying that their personal practice, although it is, you know, personal practice is the Madhyamikan practice, they pretend to be Chitta Matharin for the world. Okay, like Manjushri, you know, he is Buddha himself, but pretend as a Bodhisattva. Okay. So, okay, coming back, we were talking about the dependent nature. So dependent nature is equal to cause and effect, and then dependent nature is equal to impermanence. Okay, for the Chitta Matharin's understanding or Yogacharan understanding. So that's the dependent nature, and then when you have this, when your alaya is shaken by, you know, the karmic wind or whatever, and then the the seed of the stream come to occur to be more manifest in the manifest. Then you have the mental image. So, and then it doesn't stop there, but it goes beyond, and then think that, oh, these are the real thing that is happening outside. So then at that point, what happened is now you have another phenomena called imputed nature. So imputed nature, right? Imputed nature. So now you have another nature, right? Imputed nature, which is, you know, you have mental image, and then you presume or assume that mental image is out there, right? So the outer object or external object is called the imputed, because you impute your mental image as an outer phenomena or outer object. So that is called the imputed nature. And so since you have already two now like two objects, right? Two objects, outer object, mental object. Now you think that, okay, there should be someone who is looking at that object. You know, mental, there should be something who, who is looking at that mental object, and then, mental object. So that is the, that is called the, we call self-awareness, self-awareness. And that self-awareness is again a dependent nature, okay? That self-awareness is dependent nature. So we are talking about the self-awareness and then, the mental image, because they are related, like they are subject and object now, right? So mental image and then self-awareness. Self-awareness looking at the mental image, and then mental image is not completely different from the self-awareness by nature, because both of them are a result of the alaya, right? They are both of them are like alaya. Suppose there is two currents coming out of a ocean and then looking at each other, and then you would say, oh, this is a right current, and then this is the left current, right? So left and right. So, and then suppose left is the awareness, and then the right is the mental object facing each other. They are called right and left due to their position, right? Because you have two, that's why you are called left and right. If only one, you cannot say. If there's only one, then you cannot say left and right, right? You cannot say. So now Chittamadhuna says, these two, left and right, or subject and object, is not real. Not real. In a reality, there's no subject and object. So the reality of the mind is a completely like clean and pure. There's no like current and wave happening. It's just a completely calm and really like untouched and then unmoved, completely like stable mind, pure mind. So that that pure mind is absent of subject and object. So basically the ocean is the nature of the ocean is absent of the two currents, that's left and right. Likewise, our mind is nature of the mind is absent of subject and object, and that absent of the subject and object is called complete nature. Complete nature. Absent of the subject and object, dualistic mind is called the complete nature. Okay, so these three things. So complete nature, the absence of the subject and object, is the ultimate reality, the true reality. And then the awareness, the pure awareness, is sometimes they refer to they refer as a complete nature, but it's not the complete nature. Sometimes they they use they use this name to the awareness, the pure awareness or pure awareness, but the pure awareness is not the real ultimate reality or complete nature. Okay, so this we have to be understand if you are really like studying through the philosophy, but if not, then it's okay, because we so then so we have like complete nature, dependent nature, and then imputed nature, right? Imputed nature, three things. So basically what Chittamatharan is trying to do here is, you have to really understand that this subject and object is not the real things happening. It's just because of like some negative stream come to like it pushes us and then it occur in our mind, but it's not happening as such. So when you understand that, then these two subject and object will just like dissolve, and then it just abide in the primordial state of the mind, which is pure and like pure like crystal, pure like a crystal, which has no color, shape, and then any of image. Then that is called the the nirvana, and then that mind is self-awareness, and that mind is truly existent. Okay, so now when we talk about the dependent nature, then they talk about like the self-awareness and then mental image, right? So mental image. So we also discuss about there is two types of Chittamatharan, the false sectarian and then true sectarian. So they are divided into two sub school, because one of them believe that mental image that we have, right? So when you think of an apple, then you have an apple in your mind, right? So that the image of the apple that happened in your mind, and then the image that you are seeing right now in your screen as a screen or as a me in the screen, then these mental image are your own mind, and then that mind is truly existence, if truly existence, so the truly existent. So and then so these are those who believe that this is the truly existent and mind, they are called the true aspectarian or Satyakaravada. Okay, Satyakaravada. Satya is true, right? Satyakaravada. So that is one school, and then the second school who is like false aspectarian, they believe that no, that the image of the apple that you have in your mind right now is not the mind, really. It's not, it cannot be mind. The mind is only the awareness. The mind is only the awareness. The aspect of the awareness only is mind, but that image that you have in your mind is just a reflection, or is a result of a delusion. So that's why it's not the mind. So and that's why they are called false aspectarian. So that aspect of the mental image is not a mind, and it's just a delusion, illusion, and it happens due to the delusion. So they are called the like false aspectarian. So are you guys with me? Okay.
Genla,
Yeah.
so do the false aspectarians say that the delusion that makes it that makes the aspects an illusion, do they say that that's the imputation of permanence upon those objects?
So very good argument, I would say. So this same argument is raised by Chandarakshita here. Same argument will raised by Chandarakshita here. So it's a very good one, because because they say that the cause and effect and dependent nature and impermanence are equal, right? So now if they say that the mental object is cause and effect, either cause or effect, or it is impermanence, then what does it mean for them? It means it is a mind, right? Right. So now they are conflicting among their own statement.
Oh, I'm not sure I see that, but maybe we should go on a little bit. But it sounds like very close to Madhyamaka, if you see it that way. So close.
So close. Yeah, you will see. You will see. I was thinking about one of the stanza of where Shanti Deva in chapter Shanti Deva in Bodhisattva Charitara, where he says, very similar, the meaning is there when they talk about the pure awareness, but they're stuck there. And Shanti Deva get rid of that. And then we will again talk about this stanza, particular stanza that we, we will look at the stanza that is coming. Okay. So thank you for that question, really. Okay. So here now we will again slightly focus on how the false expectarians talks about the mind again. So they only believe in the self-awareness that is that is completely by itself. No object is true. No object exists. No object exists, even as a mental image. Mental image is they call that it is the mental image is imputed nature. So we have Sungwa and Zimba. Yesterday we discussed that Sungwa is the mental image, and then Zimba is the self-awareness. So only the self-awareness is a mind, and then that self-awareness has no image in it, and then it is like a clear crystal that do not reflect anything in it. Do not reflect anything in it. Now remember, we did one meditation yesterday, and then we talk about when you have no object in front of your mind, what will happen to your mind? Right? When you have no object in front of your mind, and then your mind become objectless, for people like Chandakriti, people like Shantideva, they would say, now there's nothing to be focused, and then there's nothing to be aware of, and there's nothing to be think about, and there's nothing to be talk about. So that is why, just for the sake of understanding, just for the sake of conversation and dialogue, we call it Buddha nature. Just for the sake of dialogue and then conversation, we call it Buddha nature, we call it emptiness, we call it Buddha or Dharma, Chukiku, Dharmakaya. But for Chittamatharin, they call it, that is a crystal clear, and that's the mind, and that's truly exists. So they point to this, refer to the same thing that Madhyamika people would say different, and then they would say they would identify as different, right? So same reference, one say truly exist, one say not truly exist. You cannot really talk about it because now there's no thought that is assuming or like talking about it. All thought has completely ceased. So who would decide? Who would judge? So the Madhyamika stopped to judge, but although they are about to stop judging, but out of blue, they say, oh, this is the mind. So that is, I think, they make the mistakes here. The false aspectarian Chidamatrin. Okay, so here it says Chidarango Chidengo need to de number meba de yanda tuna na meba number shilla Norwenas. So if that mind is crystal clear, and then it's completely single, and then nothing is nothing is reflected in, then how does so for them this is the question, like how does it occur that it appears that you have something in your mind? Then they would say it's just it is happening because you are not being able to dwell in that state, and then you have the seed of the karma, and then different like mind stream, and it arises, and then it gives rise to that mental image, and that's just an illusion, and that's just a imputation. So that's how it works. Like although it's not there, but it appears to you. So this is their explanation, okay? But Shandarakshita is not happy with that explanation. Because Shandarakshita is again not really understanding what they mean by the delusion, and then what they mean by the mental stream, what they mean by the seed of the karma. They have to explain that more, right? They have to explain that. So if there is a stream of the karma, if there is like if there is the stream of the discursive thought, then what is that seed? Is that a alaya, or is that something else? Right? Is that the pure consciousness or awareness, or what? They have to again explain that, right? So that's why Chandarakshita said, "Kaldemena chida wotida salwat teda chidar salwat suru telang ngwele thadebe shepa denda maino." So Chandarakshita said, "I'm not happy with you what you have explained, but because you have to tell me where that this mental image coming from, and then what is the cause of that mental image, and then what is the nature of that cause, the mental image that we are having right now. I understand that there is a pure alaya and then pure awareness, but you cannot really deny that we consistently have this mental image, and then there's no way that we can think of anything without a mental image. So you have to explain that where does that mental image coming from, and then what's the cause of that mental image, and then what's the reality and nature of that mental cause. That you talk about the mental stream, the discursive thought stream. Okay. Shema is so in the stanza number 54, it says, "Tedar khangla ngang me dela shi dela deshe yumai dewa minla desodang karwan namlang karm mikarshins." So this is again another type of argument where Shantarakshita said, I know, suppose that that mental images not exist at all, right? Not exist at all. But if that mental image is not at all exist, then how would you perceive that? How do you differentiate the white mental image and then black mental image? How would you differentiate? Like, how would you differentiate is like a girl and a daughter of bearded woman, right? So if someone is if the two parties, like two couples, they cannot produce produce baby, then how would you differentiate their son and their daughter? Can you talk about the different different between their how do their the son and then how do their girls look like? You cannot talk about that because it's not exist. You cannot really differentiate them because it's not exist. Likewise, if the mental image is not exist at all, then you cannot really talk about the differentiation of the mental image, different mental images, right? So white and black, and then blue and gray, or whatever it is. So that is why it is inappropriate to say that the mental image is not there. But it doesn't mean that you have to say mental image is there.
Genla,
Oh.
don't the Yogacharans make an argument that of the 8 consciousnesses, and that one of them actually does look at mental images, the Manovijnaya? Yeah, and couldn't they say that that is the conventional reality? And once it's, they could say that. I think they do.
They does say that, but here, like now, Shantarakshita is being really like tricky. He's being really careful, and then when he argue with the Chittamatharins, because when Chittamatharan says there are only 3 things, like 3 natures: complete, dependent, and then imputed nature. So in the ultimate level, there's only 2, like dependent nature and then complete nature, right? So and then when they say in the ultimate sense, only dependent nature, especially the false expectarian, they would say there's only one kind of mind, one type of mind, and that's awareness. That's awareness. So no other than that. But in the relative sense, you can say that there's 8 different types of mind, right? In relative sense. But here, Shantarakshita is again telling them that you should also you should also talk about the that mental image as a mind, because otherwise you cannot really talk about otherwise your definition of the dependent nature is not is not complete or correct, right? Because you said dependent nature means cause and effect. Cause and effect means dependent nature, and impermanence means dependent nature, right? So that's how they explain, and then on that basis, Shantarakshita is making this argument.
This is a very subtle argument. I'm not sure I totally understand it, so I'll have to sit with it for a while. Thank you for that.
Okay. Okay. So where were I? Okay, so we were talking about the mental image, right? So if the mental image is not there, and then mental image just like the illusion and a magic, then you should not really differentiate the different mental images, because it's not exist, right? So that was the one argument, the argument in the fifth stanza number 54. Now moving forward, and then said Chandarakshita's talking about, you know, we talk about cognizing, right? We talk about cognizing something. So basically that that mental image is cognized by awareness, right? Awareness, cognized by awareness. So if that mental image is cognized by the awareness, what do you mean by cognize, right? What do you mean by cognize, or what do you mean by, you know, perceiving it? So Chandarakshita is saying, for me, there's only two ways to say it perceive. Either first possibility is that when you say perceive, then, you know, it has, you know, the mind has to really directly connect with the object, and then mind, it's the object has to be kind of one with the, become one with the object. So this is one way of saying, okay, now it perceive or experience it, right? So for Chandarakshita, perceiving, experiencing, feeling are the same. His understanding, right? So this is one possibility, that when you perceive something as a mental, when the awareness perceive a mental image, then it has to be felt by the mental image, has to be felt by the awareness. So if the awareness is feeling the mental image, that means mental image becomes the mind, right? And the second possibility, when you say perceiving or like cognizing, is that the way, you know, Sautandrika guys understand, you know, send in reflection. But you know, false expectation would not say that it will send the reflection, because, you know, because the that mental image is not exist. So how can it send a reflection, right? So this so both possibilities, sending a reflection and then, you know, experienced by the awareness, both of them are not you know, possible. That's why you cannot say that the self-awareness has perceived or cognized that mental image. Anyone who would like to give an opinion on what do you mean by cognize something or perceive something? It's different from detect, right? So we have the machine, and then, you know, it makes tit 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 tit. So this means detect. So yeah, when you go through the custom in the airport, so they have you know, this machine which detect the guns or the things like that. So what do you mean by when you say cognize or perceive or whatever?
Cognize, it seems to me at least, and I'm no expert, implies some sort of mental aspect. You know, we talk about cognition, and that's almost always brain-based. And perception seems to be a more sensory-based sort of thing. You know, we perceive through our senses. You know, we can hear things, we can see things, we can feel things. But cognition, obviously in psychological terms, implies some sort of brain or mind function, where perception doesn't necessarily imply, I guess, brain, but that's just off the top of my head.
Okay.
Are you asking us about what we think they mean, or are you asking in terms of the English translation for these terms?
No, I'm just asking you, what do you mean when you, how do you perceive when you say I perceive something, or how do you define perceiving and then cognition? How do you understand that? No, not the translation, not the translation. The original.
Yeah, this is where we get stuck in language.
Yeah.
Well, we know something. I mean, like a mirror can have a reflection, but the mirror doesn't know the reflection. For us, we know whatever that's reflected in our mind.
Okay, when you say no, what does it mean now? When you say I know, like we know.
There's a mental image.
Well, not necessarily, because a direct mind doesn't have mental image.
Experience.
Well, okay, never mind. Yeah.
I think there's not only one explanation, really, right? I think different people have different explanations. So I was just curious, like, how do you what do you mean when you say I know? What do you mean by when you say I understand? And then I knew it, or like, I perceive it, I cognize it.
Well, here it says in the dictionary that cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. So thinking, knowing, remembering, judging, and problem solving.
Okay.
They need language, imagination, perception, and planning. Oh, sorry, that was my interruption.
I've just been through another class where they were giving definition of terms. So awareness is a knower. But in terms of awareness, there are different division of how we or mind or consciousness. There's a different divisions of it, like the direct valid cognizer, the inferential cognizer, and then there's the last one is a wrong consciousness. So there is a tricky thing about saying that a wrong consciousness is a knower, is an awareness, but it doesn't know anything because it is a wrong consciousness. So when you ask the questions, I get all tied up in that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that's why sometimes when we teach the philosophy, it becomes so difficult for us who is instructing, and then for those who are receiving instruction. When I think of these things, even though I use the perceiving and cognizing, I'm thinking from the original word that I have in my head: shepa, topa, rigpa. These three words in Tibetan, and many synonym word again, very similar. So here in Tibetan, when you say shepa, rigpa, topa, tsorwa, nyongwa, they are similar. They are identical, I would say, identical. Shepa is no, okay. Rigpa is aware, and then toba is perceive, nyongwa is feel, tsorwa is feel, and nyongwa is experience.
Whoa. Could you say that again, please?
Okay.
Could you repeat?
Rigpa is aware. I think when we self-awareness, rigpa, rang rigpa, and then shepa is no, right? No, or cognize, and then tokpa is perceive, and nyongwa is like experience, and tsorwa is you feel it. So these five. There's more. Okay, I cannot recall right now. There's so many more. So when we say these the five, at least right now I have five, right? So they are identical. Whereas in English, I think there's a different nuance between experiencing and then feeling, and then perceiving and knowing, cognizing, understanding. Koa, again, koa. We have koa is understanding. Koa, I understand. Nye kosong. Nye kosong. Kwe lawa de nye kosong means I understand. So again, like language barrier here, and maybe this makes difficult to, understand what really Chandarakshita is trying to say, right? So that's why, I'm just giving these words to you guys so that, you have some kind of flavor.
Well, Genla, even in Tibetan, those words, those 5 words are interpreted completely differently by different schools and different traditions. So like a loaded term like Rigpa can be interpreted by various Tibetan scholars in completely different ways. So yeah, it's always interesting.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. Especially when it comes to the epistemology, epistemology, right? Logic, then it becomes crazy. It becomes crazy among the 4 Indian school and then 4 Tibetan Buddhism school. It becomes crazy. So anyway, like
in terms of debate, just one little tidbit. In terms of debate, when they use the word know, it means to know something without doubt. That's how they use it within the context. That's why they say wrong consciousness is a knower, but it doesn't know anything. I'm just,
yeah. So without doubt, you cannot say that. No, you cannot say, because there's the knower has 2 types, like conceptually knowing and then like non-conceptually knowing. Conceptually knowing has no doubt. It clears the doubt, but non-conceptually knowing doesn't clear the doubt. This is, now we are really going to the Sema, so we will not go through that. I'm so sorry. We will not go through that. This is a big hassle. Okay, so number dila shebi tu nguzu teba main de sheba dadan traveche namka medola so shins. So that mental image cannot be one with one with the awareness, because according to you that mental image is not a mind. So how come non-mind become a mind, or non-existent mental image can or become one with the mind, right? So that is why, so basically Chandarakshita said there's 2 possibility when you say you perceive something. So 2 possibility. First, that mental image kind of like integrated with the awareness, and then this is called perceiving, or like feeling or experiencing, right? And then another would be that mental image sends a reflection, and then the self-awareness as kind of that reflection, and then in that way you can say, oh, that self-awareness has reflected the mental image, so that's why mental image is perceived by the self-awareness. So both of them are not possible according to the false expectation Chittamatra school, because the first one is not possible because that mental image cannot integrate with the mind, because the mental image doesn't exist. Second one cannot be is not possible because they cannot the mental image has no potential to send a reflection, because it doesn't exist, right? Okay. Okay, so we have more 2 minutes, okay. Mela niba maybe na dabang miru tarashin maybe tana shijewa nibarongama innos. So this is the second one. Okay, what does not exist without potency, unfit for aspect, like horse horn. So horse horn is like a example of not not exist, okay, non-existent. Okay, we'll stop here today. I don't want to go further. We will discuss more this part again. And I know, Jocelyn, your question is not again answered yet, but hopefully in the next week, your question will be answered. Sorry, not even today.
It's okay. It's okay.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you, Kembola. You still remember my question.
Yeah. Okay, so any burning last question? We have 2 minutes, 1 minute, otherwise we'll conclude with the dedication. And so today we will dedicate for those who are in the war and, you know, influenced by those war, and then, you know, going through basically everyone who is affected by the war that is happening right now. So it can be us, it can be anyone who is looking at the war, or it can be anyone who is involved in the war, even the Putin himself. So we will dedicate to have compassion, to generate compassion in Putin's mind and heart, and then like dedicate to have more virtue in a whole human society, so that we don't have to like really go that far. So namdi damje zubani to namni be do namje chegona jambala to sibe chole do to sho jambal bo chitra chamba na kundu sambo te chida kunji chito don gewa de da damje ra do chanju sen chorum ba ma ke banam ke ju ke wa nyamba konne kondo pelwa sho. Thank you. Have a great night and sweet dream.
Same to you,
Thank you.
Genla.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ken.
Good night, Genla. Thank you.
Thank you,
Good night,
Genla.
everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.